I would like to call upon Professor William Oduro, who is the Dean for the Faculty of Renewable Natural Resources and also the Project Coordinator in Ghana. He is a remarkable person because Andy and myself, we give instructions from here and we go and see the progress, but he has the biggest challenge to implement them and produce results. So I would like to personally congratulate him for his hard work. And you will very soon see why when he does his presentation, the results achieved on the ground. Thank you.
I'm so delighted to have this large audience. I want to thank the leadership of the Guelph University and also the community that is here in this room. My presentation will just go into details what have been said. I'll just zoom in that a lot of the highlights that I've been given. I've been given 45 minutes, I'll try to cut it down because of the numerous things that we have to look at here. So this is the APERL agroforestry project that we've been talking about, agroforestry practices to enhance resource-poor livelihoods. I want to first look at the outline of the presentation. I'll take us through the general introduction, and I want to define APERL, and I'll look closely at the results, that is the outcome. So what are the outcomes? There are three of them. The first one, the outcome number one, we are looking at poverty alleviation in the target communities. Outcome number two, KNUST as a center of excellence in West Africa, delivering agroforestry technologies, and the third one is national agroforestry policy revitalized and also strengthened. I'll run you through the introduction. First, we want to look at outcome number one and the outputs. The outputs are mainly the immediate results, and there are two of them: enhanced agroforestry systems, community and household income generation capacity. Outcome number two, there are GIS capacity enhancement, faculty development, library enhancement, and soil laboratory enhancement. Outcome number three, and that is going to look at the revitalization of the agroforestry policy at the national level and incorporating agroforestry also at the district planning level. Now you see the global picture here in Ghana, seated just at West Africa, and the places that we are working in, you see Ghana on the left. The basis for this particular project have been spelled out. The chosen areas that are community are areas that are stricken with poverty, chronic food insecurity, and poor health and malnutrition. Also environmental degradation, which is the core and the basis of our project. What are the causes of this? They are due to incessant collection of firewood from the natural forests. These are uncontrolled collection. We also have wildfire going through the area, particularly the forest reserves. And most of the farms, you can see plantain at the background. And one of the causes is slash and burn. There's a very indigenous way of clearing land, and you understand the local farmers. This is labor intensive. It is a forest area. They don't have the instrument, they don't have the equipment. They have to make sure the easiest way of doing it is to set fire through the forest. And as you do that, it leads to land degradation, low farm outputs, loss of biodiversity, reduction in contamination water resources, farming, and a decrease in forest cover. So what do we do when we are faced with these particular problems? If you look at the picture here, these are satellite projections. Right from 1996 through to 2007, when the project began, you can see the land cover reduced. The green areas that you see are the forest areas in 1996. When the satellite picture was taken, you see a reduction. By 2007, when we started the project, you see total degradation. The green cover disappeared. So what are the strategies? What do we do? We thought agroforestry technology is the way out. To bring back the tree cover, make sure the soil changes, make sure we create the atmosphere for crop production, an environment that can enhance crops. So quickly, we set up the goals and the goals of agroforestry technology to alleviate poverty quickly. This project, as you've been told, is funded by Canadian International Development Agency, and I want to congratulate Canadian International Development Agency for supporting this project and the people of Ghana. It is being implemented by the School of Environmental Science, University of Guelph, associated with KNUT, Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology in Ghana. The outcomes, number one, alleviating poverty in target communities using agroforestry technology. The results we have achieved so far, I'm just going to try to present that one. You'll see also activities that we embarked ourselves in, and then some of the challenges. Now, this is the area where we work. Carved area, the yellow portion that you see, is a region within Ghana. There are 10 regions in Ghana. Brongahafo is the area that we took. The poverty-stricken communities, targeted areas. The three areas are Dumesua, Ayakumaso, and then Fiapre in Brongahafo. You see the forest reserve just above these two towns, or three villages or communities. Because of the problem that they face, they go to the forest reserve and remove the cover there. The village has about 62.5% population, 29 of them. A lot of them are about below 29 years, that is 62.5%. Male 48%, and also female 52%. Ayakumaso, which is the second community, also has, but it stays about 10 kilometers from the faculty and has a population of 300. 90% of them are subsistence food crop farmers. Dumesua is the next community. It's also a few kilometers away from the Sujani faculty. The population is 600, and 95% of them are also subsistence farmers. Fiapre is the largest community. It's also close to the forest reserve and most developed area. Population is 2,500. Subsistence farmers, about 50%. In summary, this is the agroforestry practice to enhance resource-poor livelihoods. The first section, as I've already illustrated, poverty alleviation. And then you see the immediate outputs 3, and the second looks as first excellent areas, and then the third one is policy revitalization. I'll look at the outcome number 1 in detail. The lady that you see in the picture with food, Rejoice Akosia. Now Rejoice is now able to smile because she has a basket full of food out The gender analysis, or the gender team, headed by Helen, Lucy, and then Olivia, which is a cross-cutting team. They had to look at issues related to gender. They carried out several workshops, and the workshops spanned through livelihood planning and resource keeping, budgeting and record keeping applications to the livelihood, and also poor food security. They were able to group some of these ladies in the communities. Now they'll come in and tell you more about this. But if you look at the area where we work, women never used to be at the forefront. Today, as I speak, because of APERL, women have almost taken over the job from the men. And that is a good sign. There are also groups that have been formed out of the gender analysis. They talk to charcoal group farmers, also Gary processing farmers, mushroom association farmers, then the livestock farmers. What you see there is Gary processing. Gary comes out of cassava. Before this time, when you produce cassava, within the next 2 weeks, it's a root crop. It goes rotting. APERL is trying to increase the lifespan of cassava by transforming it into Gary. Now, Gary can go more than a year. But a lot of students in Ghana dwell on this. And most homes in Ghana, it is one of their food. In fact, in Nigeria, it is one of the most important diets. It is eaten by the president of Nigeria. So we intend to export Gary to Nigeria to make money out of this. So Gary processing, and then we also engage in mushroom farming. You see this lady with beaming smiles because of APERL. The next thing is nursery management that was established. And this nursery that you see there is a personal nursery, a private nursery by that lady. These are people that are semi-illiterate, or they've not gone to school at all. APERL has to transfer technologies, agroforestry technologies to them. And today they are able to own their own nurseries, and they sell their seedlings and take some to their farms. If you look at the data on the table here, according to the communities, livestock and small ruminant production has increased, mushroom production has also increased, and Gary processing. In terms of the number of people that have received jobs, or what we call livelihoods, these people now rear livestock, they produce mushrooms, and they also process Gary. The graph here is a very illustrative one, showing also the distribution in terms of males and females over the communities with respect to livestock, people that have benefited from livestock rearing. Agroforestry clubs were also established. Now, the idea behind this is for sustainability. The young ones that are coming should also have the idea of agroforestry technology, so they can transfer that to their children when they also grow. So APERL goes to the schools and establish agroforestry clubs and teach them agroforestry technologies. And there are several schools that have been involved in these areas. Here is one of our resource persons, Dr. Resbans, taking the students through agroforestry technology, the theories and also the practicals. Later on, the students will go to the field and begin to work on their own. And you see them there working, administering questionnaires, transferring the knowledge that they've acquired to the community members. Agroforestry awareness and sensitization continues through community group meetings, like you see over there. Also, rural radio broadcasting, which Helen has been engaged seriously in this work in the community. So farmers listen to agroforestry technologies broadcasted through Radio BA. And this is the Brong Ahafo regional radio stations. They broadcast agroforestry technologies to farmers, and farmers are enthusiastic in listening. Also, the school club meetings is another way of getting awareness through agroforestry. Then there are trainings and workshops that were established also with the MOFA staff, the Ministry of Food and Agriculture Extension staff. So when APERL is over, these ones will carry on the project, and the project will be sustainable. You see this gentleman on the left with the plant, the left, that is my left, that is Dr. Siao, was a lecturer at the Faculty of Forest Resource Technology, the campus at Sunyani, part of KNUST. And what he's doing there, teaching a farmer how to graft some of the mango seedlings and citrus seedlings into a more viable seedling, some of the seedlings without seeds. Now, if you look at the source of agroforestry information after intervention by APERL, farmers were asked the sources of their information, and you could see the percentage. APERL ranks top, 68.5%. There is also a pie chart showing knowledge of agroforestry technology. There's been tremendous improvement in terms of people who had knowledge before, and now you see that it has increased. Those who said yes, but practicing, now it has increased to a large percentage. Of course, those who said no, but practicing, if you look at it, it has decreased at 2012. Just 1% of them left. This is another graphical presentation in terms of increased in number of APERL beneficiaries, those who have benefited from APERL within the community. And you see mushroom farming, gari processing, and so forth, micro livestock, nursery management, farmers practicing fruit trees in croplands, and also those who are practicing trees on croplands. All have increased. This table here shows an increased access to agroforestry technology. Those that have marked yellow, these are fruit trees intercropped with indigenous fruit trees. The change is so drastic, 2007 and now. In 2007 it's 3.5. Now it has increased to 19.6. Micro livestock and small ruminants. In 2007, it was 12.5. It has increased to almost 21.18. It's a tremendous and remarkable increase. If you look at access to extension officers, now most of them are saying today that they have more access to extension officers than before, also due to APERL intervention. What is happening is that the news has spread so much that even communities that were not targeted have shown tremendous interest. In fact, as I speak, there are more communities that are asking that APERL should come to their communities. So these three communities, Kobedi, Kwame Krom, and Adoy, were not part of the CEDA project. They are not in the PIP. The PIP communities, as already mentioned, are Dumesua, Ayakomaso, and Fiapre, three communities. But these ones have shown interest, and there's so much pressure on us that we should bring the model or the technology to their area. We have been able to demonstrate nurseries, established nurseries in three communities, and you can see one example there. And this is what is really driving the other farming communities in the Brong-Ahafo region or the area where we are working. Annually, each nursery produces about 200,000 seedlings annually. And that is phenomenal. If you see the table here, the spread, and look at the figures, as I speak at this moment, we have produced you can see over the 682,531 seedlings from the nurseries. And they are distributed over the communities and also the schools. The nurseries sell their seedlings, and some of the institutions that buy the seedlings include government institutions like Forestry Commission, District Assembly, private plantation developers, and even mining companies. They come and buy the seedlings to rehabilitate mined areas. And what it does is that it brings money to the pockets of these village communities, hence alleviating poverty. You see this lady there. There are several of them, but we just want to demonstrate an example of somebody who is indicating that she has benefited from APERL project, the intervention of agroforestry practices. So she was asked several questions. And hear what she said. Says she grows mangoes, citrus, teak, mahogany, Ofram, and then Cedrella. A lady, 56 years old, with children and grandchildren. The number of seedlings raised in her nursery, she says she raises 25,000 seedlings annually for sale and also for use. When she asks institutions that buy her seedlings, she said, well, Forestry Commission, District Assembly, private plantation developers, and mining companies buy her seedlings. What about income? She said before APERL came in, she was receiving just 1,200. Today, she gets 3,000 Ghana cedis annually. Translated into dollars, should be about $1,500. Added to what she gets, this is really phenomenal to her. Tree-based intercropping. The local communities have been trained so far. 129 of them shown interest in seedling production. A total of 142 hectares of farms have been established. You can see some of them on the posters demonstrated. And the distribution is, as you see on the board, according to the communities. And this graph also shows the distribution. of seedlings supplied to farmers according to the communities. This is a GIS position of the farms. Every farmer's farm has been geographically picked and plotted. So here you are with beneficial farmers at Ayakumaso, Dumesuya, and then APERL. Example of the agroforestry intervention, you can see the tall trees, cedrela, intercropped with maize. The farmer can benefit from these two. And the mangoes also in the beneficiary farms at the background. At the household level, we have supplied mangoes, that is fruit trees, and citrus to every household, especially those who are interested. And today, as I'm speaking, you can see the mango. It has grown and is fruited. And the farmer you see holding the mango is very happy. He can now have mangoes to eat, address food security, address nutrition, address diseases and sickness. The citrus is on the left side of it, also at various holes. What we are trying to do is that we want to label these three communities as fruit-producing communities. On Sunday, when I drove through Niagara here, I was going to the Niagara Falls, and I saw some areas. They said these areas are specialized for fruit production, wine. And that is the concept that we are turning these areas into. So in future, when you drive on the main road, you see people selling mangoes, selling citrus, earning money for themselves to take care of their children and also their children's children. This is the GIS presentation of the fruit trees in the communities. Now, if you look at the towns, the households are the black ones. Now, the green ones that are dotted are the fruit trees within the community. What is it doing? It is transforming the entire area that never used to have trees or vegetation into a vegetation community. And it's addressing climate change and addressing so many things. That is what APERL is doing. This, I've already spoken about it. This is also a GPS position of all the fruit trees within the community household. You can also see these are Dumesuya. The black ones are all the towns, the houses. And each household that has a mango or citrus fruit, we pick the GPS position and it is plotted. Eventually, what you want to see, the whole place will be greenish. And that is the last town, which is Ayakuma, so that has about 300 farmers population, very scattered and also becoming greenish. APERL established boreholes to provide water for the community and also water to water the nurseries. And that is a young man, a young boy, enjoying for the first time a water through pipe. They used to go to the riverside to collect water, but for the first time he's enjoying water. In other words, it is reducing the fatigue and the energy involved in going to the riverside to fetch water. In fact, before he gets to school, he will be late because of that work. But today he's happy. He can go to a borehole with a pipe. I love the boy. It's a very wonderful boy. And here are girls also fetching water. That is APERL project. That is what the CEDA money has done. It has reduced fatigue, drudgery, stress, and also discomfort. They use the water to water their gardens, and you can see gentlemen there watering their gardens. Oh, this lady, APERL, takes care also of the disabled or physically challenged. This woman, before this time, had to ride the bicycle and go to the street, struggle with people to collect water. And how she was doing it, she had to come out of the bicycle and get to the stream to fetch water. Today, it is very comfortable and easy for her to fetch water with her daughter standing beside her. In order to create a healthy environment, we also set up fire brigade or fire awareness program. So this is volunteer groups that control fire in the area. Workshops were also conducted to train people. And you can see the gentleman there. This is actually fire belt being created around people's farm to prevent wildfire. All these help to reduce land degradation. So the high-risk fire areas that you see, they have all been covered now with green vegetation. And that is the population, the distribution of fire prevention within the areas. Right from Ayakumaso, Domesia, and then Fiapre. In the beginning, you could see respondents, people who said their farms have now been improved in terms of skills, knowledge, and skills. And those who said that, yes, with the improvement in knowledge and skills, their farms have now been also improved in blue. And that is a very tremendous one. If you look at this distribution, 2008 to 2009, when the project started, fire frequency was about 40. It has reduced barely to just 4 because of the project. The micro livestock project. What APERL did was to train the farmers in a government institution. And after the training, they were supplied, each farmer will have 3 female livestock, either goat or sheep or grass cattle or pigs. And then they'll have a common male to go around and make sure that they become pregnant. So here you see some of the farmers, 226 farmers have been trained, 555 breeding stock have been supplied to the farmers. And that is the distribution that you have according to the training batches. First batch, second batch, third batch, and the number of farmers that have been trained. 555 is also the distribution according to the communities. This wonderful lady, out of 3 female that we gave, in fact, she had decided not to sell. I asked her why she wouldn't want to sell some. She said she wants to keep her goats. And they have multiplied to this level. And you can imagine if she sells them, how much money she's going to get. It's out of APERL project, livestock supplied. Now we've picked one woman here, just from the board, number of breeding stock received. She said, I received 3. How many have you sold? 4. How many have you consumed, household consumed? I said 1. What are the current number of grass cutters that you have? I said, I have 19 grass cutters. Now, one grass cutter sells $25. Multiply 25 by 19. For the villager, it is a fantastic amount of money. We're talking about poverty reduction. Poverty reduction. Very happy woman. Employment, livelihood, she has gained employment. Poverty has been reduced, and it's affecting so many people. Now, this lady is a goat farmer. Number of breeding stock, 3 received. Number sold, 8. She is very, very business-like. Household consumption, 3. Current number of goats, 15. Now, one price of goat sells $50. Now, you also multiply, and you see the quantum of money that is coming to her pocket. She is very happy. She has more there. And then this man with the pig said, number of breeding stock received. She said, I got 1 female. Number of pigs sold, 8. In other words, they have multiplied. Of course, you know pigs are very prolific breeders. Household consumption 9, current number of pigs 6, price of pigs $200 for one. He is in a lot of money. Now, short rotation woodlots have also been established, as you could see in the picture, and we have covered about 20 hectares of short rotation woodlot. The purpose of this is to provide wood to feed the kin. And charcoal kin have been provided. These were manufactured by the Agric Engineering Department of KNUST, and we have provided these for all the communities. They produce charcoal. You can see the gentleman just putting in the wood that they have just cut, and then they burn it and get a charcoal. So these are bags of charcoal that will be taken to the cities, sold, and then that's the lady standing there ready to sell her charcoal to travelers. Gari processing, we talked about it. These are women who are peeling the cassava. Those of you who have not seen cassava before, that's cassava. And then they will just roast these ones, and the roasting is going on. That is post-harvest technology. They are processing the cassava for sale. In terms of the cover, now look at 2007 land cover. If you look, okay, quickly, yes. This thing that didn't work. Okay, okay. Right, thank you. Thank you very much. So you can see 207, the yellow portions here. These are all grasslands. And then the blue that you see are the farmlands. A little bit of forest here. And also built areas and farmlands and so forth. By 2012, as we stand here, the satellite imagery is showing these areas that used to be grassland covered with trees. These are open forest, now increased. And you can see all these areas also increased with trees. Now, what it's all indicating is that if you put in the trees, you can turn a degraded area into a more suitable area for other crops. Brong Ahafo region, where we are talking about, used to produce cocoa. Cocoa needs a little bit of moisture and needs some form of temperature. But because of the wildfire and the degradation, they have stopped producing cocoa in the areas that I'm talking about. Today, most of the farmers that we work with, they are asking for cocoa seedlings. And I told them that we didn't come in for cocoa seedlings. Wait for a while. So they are happy that the area has changed by agroforestry intervention. So there are increased farming activities. Land cover changes have also improved. In terms of the areas from 2007 to 2012, more of these have happened, and the drivers of the changes I've already mentioned are listed there. New jobs have been created, and these are all the number of people that have had new jobs: mushroom, garlic nursery, and then micro livestock. Outcome number 2 basically is just making KNUST a center of excellence in West Africa, delivering agroforestry technologies. And it's already been said, today KNUST is number 1 in Ghana, and also number 1 in West Africa, 13th in Africa. Of course, you know that South Africa and then areas like Egypt and Algeria had all been before us. But we are working very hard to be at the top 10 this year. APERL has established 16 workstations and then 5 also workstations in the two areas. Some of the equipment that have been supplied so far is all been demonstrated. These are very expensive equipment that the project is bought to establish the GIS stations. Now the GIS also organizes workshop training for other institutions, and the distribution are over there. It also trains farmers how to use the GPS to pick the seedlings that are sent to their farms. So in terms of training workshops and then knowledge application, teaching staff of FRT that participate using the GIS, the distribution is also over there, very, very extensive distribution. Many institutions are using the GIS facility now. And in terms of tutorials, the GIS has also improved students' access to GIS, and then students' access to GIS facilities this year is also distributed in terms of males and females. That is the GIS room that you see there. And number of students that were also trained. 6 faculty members have been trained. The numbers are shown there, 1 PhD and several of them MPhil. Today I have one lady, that is Regina Eninfo. Happy to mention that she's here in Guelph receiving training in taxonomy. Eninfo, can you stand up? I want the people to see. You can see. Now the story is that in Ghana at the moment, as the Vice Chancellor said, the taxonomists that we have who were trained in UK and in Canada and so forth, they've gone on retirement. And in all the universities, you can't count the taxonomists in that place. My old friend, Professor Tin Yeboah, who's gone on retirement, is the only taxonomist that know left, but he's gone on retirement. Now we need people to be trained. But I'm happy to see this young girl who has donated her life to be trained as a faculty members also went elsewhere by APERL. They traveled to Benin. Some of them went to Kenya for training. And so here you see staff who went to Benin to learn about agroforestry. In terms of development, you can see Helen, who is part of us, also has trained some of the technicians. And Regray from here went and also trained technicians in KNUST. Soil laboratory and plant laboratory has been established. All the equipments that APERL has donated or bought for the labs are listed here. The pictures are, or the very wonderful equipment that we have, and we are so thankful to APERL. These ones that we have has brought a lot of development. Because of that, KNUST has employed 5 technicians, 3 of them females and 2 males. We never used to have this, but we are happy that APERL has projected that one. The library has also been improved. It's also been shown. Number of books, almost about $40,000 books have been purchased to enhance teaching and learning in KNUST. These are all library books at FFRT that have been shown. So what has it done? We have increased students' interest in GIS increased, improved average GIS score of students have increased, and increased number of students research using GIS. The table over there shows a distribution of number of GIS theses that have been provided over the years. This is the KNUST as a center of excellence with GIS supplies and increased number of GIS integrated postgraduate programs. Here we have, because of the GIS, we run now MSc GIS for natural resources at FRNR, MSc GIS geomatic engineering, MSc water supply and environmental sanitation, MSc water resources engineering and management. These are all in civil engineering. NUST, again, APERL GIS Center in FRA is housing all these kind of projects. And it has a center that has trained about 31 graduates so far in GIS at the graduate level. Some of the lecturers, the people that we have who have been trained are shown here from the GIS position. They are occupying various places. Talking about new capacity strengthening, we have student enrollment increased by 50%. Foreign students enrollment also increased. And then we also have improved application of GIS in natural resource research among staff of FRT, and also increased publication by staff of FRT and FRN. In fact, because of APERL, you can see this increased number of publications, distributions over the years, and that is phenomenal. That's phenomenal. As I said, KNUST, you can see our registrar in the middle receiving award. APERL has contributed to enhance the image of KNUST in making it #1 center of excellence in Ghana, in West Africa, 13th in Africa. And here is an example. I pick it from the net, the registrar receiving an award for the excellence of KNUST. Finally, and in the next 2 minutes I have to wind up, agroforestry as a national policy. Now we feel strongly that agroforestry is the solution to the degradation that has gone on in Ghana and perhaps even in West Africa. We also believe because of that, the nation should take it and make it as a national policy. So a draft policy has been completed. It's deposited with the Ministry of Agriculture. It's now being used at district assemblies, the Forest Service Commission, the Ghana Fire Service, and also communities that are represented there. The formulated strategies are just listed 1 to 9. In summary, within the policy, we said they should establish woodlots, trees on farmlands, improve fallows, amenity planting, weed breaks, live fencing, boundary planting, home gardens, and trees along water bodies. I want to thank you all for listening attentively to this presentation.